Joining me to discuss this issue and the spate of insecurity in Nigeria is a West African regional coordinator and organized crime observatory from the Institute for Security Studies, Dakar, Senegal, Dr. Oluwole Ojewale. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Ojewale.
Thank you for having me.
Well, sadly, at least one soldier has died in recent attacks by gunmen on a military checkpoint near Abuja. Yet, this is, as I'm sure you know, not the first time a military unit will be attacked. Is this an intelligence failure on the part of the government, or is this something else that we might be missing?
Well, let me start on the note that I empathize with those who have lost their life, because this is not the only one. We've had repeated experiences in terms of recent attack and those who are still locked up in the den of the kidnappers. Our prayers are with the family. But going back to your question, I think a lot needs to be unpacked here. And it is not necessarily about the failure of intelligence alone. It is just a pointer to the fact that perhaps, or let's say authoritatively, that the entire security architecture is extremely weak now. And then it's about proactive security response. It is not the reactive and the reactionary response that you see when attacks have been carried out, and then those in government start issuing press statements and all those things. Don't forget that it was just lately that the deputy speaker of the House of Representatives made a shocking revelation that not less than 40 reports were sent to appropriate authority in terms of intelligence gathered and processed before the attack on Kuje prison. So for me, I think we are seeing daily that the terrorist groups are becoming more emboldened and thinking they can strike anywhere they like. And you don't forget that the FCT is expected to be the most secured city in Nigeria by virtue of the security presence and by virtue of being the headquarters of federal government in Nigeria. So it's not so much about intelligence, it's about proactive response even before those things happen. Because like you have said, I'm not too sure whether there was an intelligence gathered on what just happened in Madalla. But it's much more than that.
All right, Dr. Ojewale, I want us to talk, about, our ratings also. Nigeria, was recently rated third worst country with insecurity in the world. And of course, that was in the Global Terrorism Index 2020, just behind Afghanistan and Iraq. Do you think these things are significant in how it, and, how do you think it also affects the planning and intelligence efforts by the Nigerian security agencies? And also, I want to know, from your perspective, do you think that Nigeria is at a place where it can't solve these issues, or it's just not doing the right things?
Well, we go back to what we've been saying, and let me start on the note of the rating of Nigeria behind Afghanistan and Iraq. That speak more to issues of maybe what will be the global perception of Nigeria in terms of maybe business destination, economic foreign direct investment that is supposed to be accruing to the country, because nobody wants to go to a country probably to bring investment or to invest in businesses if you are not about the image country house, but what we've seen again because the last statement where I see that the country is not getting a lot of things right. I think so. That is the problem. We've been over again forming security architecture, police. You and I know that about 8 years ago, we used to have a very robust mobile police force. Right. Where have they gone now? Are they not the ones that are now protecting the VIPs? Because you can't really address the security concern in the country. The solution is not politicization of the military. It is upgrading your police to be able to respond and police the community effectively. And that is the reason why we have been talking about the devolution of policing power. The federal government cannot be everywhere. The state government must get involved in policing the country. And we're at crisis moments now, emergency period. And I'm surprised that rather than the National Assembly, when they are talking about the constitutional amendment, addressing that section 215 of the Nigerian Constitution, they are busy, beating around the bush, saying the governors are going to abuse the police. Are people not being abused now? People being kidnapped. Over $1 billion naira has been paid regarding those who were kidnapped in the Kaduna train attack. So the question, the issue I'm raising here is this. It is not about policing the military, the policingization of the military. It is about upgrading the police to be able to do the work that is expected to do.
Well, it's different levels, where changes need to be made and a lot of improvement needs to come in. Would you say, final question, because we need to go, would you say that the Nigerian government has enough time between now and the next general elections to make any difference with regard to security?
Well, I think security governance is a continuum, and the little they can do now is the fact that continue to invest and redeploy. All the agencies need to work together now. The security, Nigerian security and civil defense, the military, the police, work with the community themselves. I think that's what we have now. But the agenda post-2023 election is to reform is to devolve the policing power. That is what should be on the front burner now.
All right. Dr. Ojewale, Oluwole Ojewale, thank you very much for joining us and for having that conversation.